Hey, I want to take a second today to talk to you about City Nights. Our first City Nights prayer gathering is this coming Monday, and we're going to be focusing our prayers on breaking these strongholds. Now, if you're out here and you're like, what in the world are we talking about with strongholds? If you're unfamiliar with that concept, I want to explain it a little bit for you, all right? So in the Bible, this term stronghold appears over 50 different times in the Bible. Now, most of those times it's in the Old Testament. It's actually used to describe a physical location. These were physical locations, these places that were designed to be so secure that they could withstand all opposition coming in from the outside. Paul picks up on that, and in the New Testament, he uses the term as a metaphor to describe these spiritual battles, not physical anymore, but spiritual battles that we face as Christians. And he used the term to describe these sinful attitudes and mentalities that are opposed to the will of God. And in 2 Corinthians 10:3-4, he says this, "For though we live in the world, we don't wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. Now, on the contrary, they have divine power to," here's our word, "demolish strongholds." All right, so stick with me here. If God is saying, I have power to demolish these spiritual strongholds, then maybe that begs a couple of questions, right? Like, do I have any of these strongholds in my own life? And if I do, man, like, what do I do with them? So I know you may have more questions than that, but let's just take a second and let's just start with those two. The first one, do I have strongholds in my own life? Do you have strongholds in your own life? Guys, probably, all right? Now, maybe you haven't labeled it, but I'm willing to bet that you have actually realized it, okay? It's that sin habit that just won't go away. It's that one temptation that you bite on every single time, hook, line, and sinker. It's that thing or thought that you've promised God hundreds of times you'd never do or think that again. That place where it just seems like the enemy, man, he's got you stuck, walled in. And sure, guys, there's been times where you've experienced freedom in a lot of different areas. You've kicked a lot of who you used to be before Jesus to the curb, but there's still that one spot. That quick temper, that lust, that innate ability that you have to judge everybody else off of their negative actions, but only judge yourself by your positive intentions. Matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and just be real with ourselves? Let's change that probably to a definitely. Okay, so if this side of heaven, we all have them, we all have these strongholds, how do we demolish them? Because remember, Paul in that verse, he said that we have power to do just that. Now, we don't have to live with these things, guys. They're not some kind of creepy roommate who we just hope stays hidden in the basement. You actually don't have to pretend to be okay the next time you binge out on that horrible habit. You don't have to live with it. And here's why you don't have to live with it. You don't have to live with it because Christ died for it. And the reason why I feel like I've spent time in that, and maybe you have too, the reason why so many of us are still living with strongholds is because we've tried to use our own willpower to demolish them. But here's our wake-up call, and don't miss this. With your own willpower, I'm just gonna think happy thoughts, or let's try to go a week without doing that, or man, I'm gonna delete all these apps, or avoid this store, or avoid that person. With all of those attempts, all you're doing is damaging the stronghold. And here's what you need to know. A damaged stronghold can be repaired. It's as if Satan takes that damaged stronghold, tows it down to hell's garage, buffs out the little dent that you put into it, and sends it right back to you guys, good as new. Which is why Paul says, we're not out here trying to damage strongholds. No, we have got powers to demolish strongholds. Both Jesus and Satan, guys, listen to this. Both Jesus and Satan, they know two things. They know the same two things. First of all, they know that human willpower can damage strongholds. Secondly, they know that humans who tap into God's divine power through prayer and through fasting, they have the power to not just damage, but demolish strongholds. See, something damaged can be repaired, but something demolished is impossible to put that thing back together. It'll never serve its same purpose. That's why Satan fights so hard in our lives to keep us out of prayer. See, he knows that whatever damage you do without prayer, he can still repair. And that's why these city nights of prayer are going to be so powerful, guys. But please, don't wait until next Monday. Take some time today and answer these two questions. First off, what is my stronghold? What is it for you? And how, this is the second question, how can I partner with Jesus through prayer to see it demolished beyond repair? Take some time, think through that, pray through that today.